Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial, I'll be on this off-shoulder gown with strap. So it can be worn as a plain gown, and then it can be worn as an inner for any style. You can just use your jacket to wear it. This gown is very versatile and very stylish, and I hope you find value. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, join the family, and to my old subscribers, I say thank you very much. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Let's get straight into the video and share to family and friends. So for this style, I have my black fabric, but I'll show you guys how to fold it on another fabric because the other one is 3 yards and I'll find it difficult. So from the lengthwise of your fabric, you're going to fold into 2, and then you're going to fold over again. That's not from the yardage of your fabric, making sure that these two ends are equal. So you fold from the lengthwise of your fabric into 2 equal parts, and then you fold over again, just like you see me show you guys, and you have 4 pieces of it. So the next thing you're going to be doing is to divide your waist measurement plus your zipper allowance and divided by 6.28. so whatever you have there, you're going to use it to mark all around. So that's your waist measurement. If you want to have maybe an allowance for adjustments in case, please do it to add maybe about 1 inch to that or ½ inch to that measurement, and you have it. So once I mark out my waist measurement, I'll place my tape. My half length is 17 inches, so I'll place that 17 inches on the mark that we've just marked, and then I'll mark the length of the gown, adding my stitching allowance as well. So once I am done with that, I'm going to measure from the beginning of this fabric that we folded all the way to the where we just marked, and whatever I have there, I'm just going to go ahead and take that measurement all around, just like you cut your flare. So we're going to cut all around with that measurement until we get to the end, and then we are going to go ahead and cut it out. So the reason why we are cutting this flare first is so that we'll make sure that this is ready. You don't want to have shortage of fabric by the time you want to do it. And we are going to go ahead and slash this from one end of it so that we have our zipper allowance, so that we have one side open for our zipper allowance, and that is it for our flare. So onto the bodice, I've gone ahead to mark out my shoulder, my chest line, my bust weight measurement, and my under bust and my waist. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to insert our shoulder measurement divided by 2 at the shoulder line. And once I am done with that, I'm going to connect it into the chest line with a straight line. So guys, once we are done with that, we are going to go ahead and mark our basic neckline, which is 3 inches for the width and then 3 inches for the depth. And just like you know, is for I'll connect a round neck, just like I said, a basic neckline. So I'm going to do a round neck for it. So guys, once you are done with that, from that shoulder line, I'm going down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'll connect it into the neckline. Okay guys, next thing we are going to be doing after that is to mark our bust measurement divided by 4. I'll make a point there, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect my armhole. If you have this curve, you don't need to start going in by half of an inch at the armhole area. It will just give you that curve at the end of the day. So you can see what we have at that armhole area. It gave us that ½ inch going in. But if you don't have your French curve, please do wait to watch my other videos and you see how to go in by ½ of an inch. And then once I am done, I'll go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple measurement. You can go ahead and measure yours. Mine is 3.5 inches. I'll mark it on my chest line, my bust line, my under bust, and my waistline. I'll go ahead and connect this line straight. And once we are done with that, at our under bust, I'm going out by 1 inch, and the other side 1 inch as well, and I'll connect it into the waistline straight, and I'll connect the other side as well straight. Once we are done with that, I'm going to go ahead from the bust point. I am coming down by ½ of an inch. You can do 1 inch as well. I'll come down by half of an inch, and then I'll connect these 2 points using my curve. If you don't have your curve, please do it to use your free hand to do this. Just try to get a perfect curve for your bust area. So I'll go ahead and connect this, and I'll flip my curve to the other side, and I'll try to also get the curve for this other side as well. So guys, once we are done with that, at the shoulder line, we are going to divide this shoulder line into 2. Whatever we have there, we are going to divide it into 2, and I'll make a point there. And then from there, I'm going to connect it into the bust line, into the bust point. So I'll just place my ruler and connect this into the bust point, not to into the chest line, into the bust line. So this point and this chest line is invalid at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and determine how off I want my shoulder to be, and I want it to be at 5 inches. You can see how it came out at the end of the video. So if you want yours to be lower, do well to increase these measurements. And what I am done with that, at that point, at that off shoulder point, I'm taking in half of an inch on both sides so that we are going to tighten that place so that it's not loose at the end of the day. I'll go ahead and connect it into the bust point, and then I'll do the same thing for the other side. Once I am done with this, I'm going to go ahead and blend it. If there's any sharp edge there, just blend it in. And because I want this to have a bit of sweetheart neckline, just small, I'm going down by 1 inch, but you can do anything from 1 inch to, depending on how you want that place to be exposed. So I'll connect it into this leg of this dart, one leg of this dart. And that's it. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to insert our measurement. Remember, we've already inserted our bust measurement. I'm going to go ahead and replace the dart that we have here at the chest line so that we don't have shortage of fabric at the end of the day. I'll make a point there, and then I'll mark my bust point, my exact bust measurement divided by 4, and then at my under bust, I'm going to mark my under bust measurement, round under bust measurement divided by 4. I'll replace my dart as well, and I'll repeat the same process for the waist. My waist divided by 4, I'll make a mark and then replace my dart intake as well that we took out, which is 2 inches. I'll make a mark there, and then I will go ahead and connect this point from my chest line to my bust, and then onto my under bust, and then to my waistline, and then to my waistline. So guys, this is what we have at this point. I'm just extending this line upwards to meet that point, and that's it. So the next thing we are going to be please do well to replace this your dart intake at the chest, at that off shoulder. So the next thing I mark now is how wide I want my off shoulder to be. So I use 6 inches for that, and then I'll connect it into my armhole just like you see me do. So we are cutting out all these places out. Don't forget to replace your dart that I just showed you guys at that point. I didn't replace it now, but I replaced it afterwards, which I also showed you guys as we go on with the video. So you can see I replaced my dart at this point. I forgot it earlier, so I'll go ahead and trace out and cut out my armhole that we just marked. So this is what you have for the front pattern of this style. You can see the center front and the side front. So we're going to go ahead and mark out the back. The back, I've already gone ahead to cut out the shoulder, the chest line, the bust line, and then the waist, and for this measurement. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, sorry. I'll make a mark there and then connect it into the chest line. And then I'll go down by 1 inch for this, and then my basic neckline of 3 inches, and then I'll connect these 2 points together. That's the shoulder slope and the weight and the neck width. Once we are done with that, I'm going to go ahead and determine how off I want my back neckline to be. So I'm taking 6.5 inches for it, and then at that point I'll take my neck width, which is 6 inches, just like we did at the front pattern. And then I'll go ahead and take my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll make a mark there, and then we are going to go ahead and connect our armhole. So the neck width for the back is 6.5 inches, and then the neck depth, 6.5 inches, and the neck width is 6 inches. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to mark our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5 inches, just like we did for the front. I'll mark it all the way to the waistline, and I'll connect it with a straight ruler. Once we are done with that, on both sides, I'm going to take in 1 inch at the waistline on both sides of this dart, and then from the bust point, I'm coming down by 1 inch, and we are going to go ahead and connect these points together for our dart. So that's our dart intake for the back bodies. So once we are done with this, we're going to go ahead and insert our measurements. We're already done for the waist for the bust, so I'll insert my waist measurement divided by 4 and then replace our dart intake. Then I'll go ahead and connect this line this way. And that's basically all for the back bodice. It's just a basic one. When you're transferring to your fabric, don't forget to add your zipper allowance to it. Don't forget to add your zipper allowance to it and your stitching allowance. So this is for the front panel. You can see my center front nose allowance, and then every other side I added ½ inch, and then the same side I added 1 inch to it. You can do as much as you can. And then for the back bodice as well, this is what we have. I added 1.5 inches for my stitching allowance, for my zipper allowance, and then ½ inch every other side of this tab. And then I went ahead to cut out my lining with the same pattern, and I added an air stay to it, just to give it volume for the, just to give him give it strength, because the lining is quite light. So I'll go ahead and take in my back dart on the two sides of the dart, and then from this, for the front, I'm going to turn it this way, and then I'll pick up one side of the front and turn it this way, and then I'll go ahead and stitch down by ½ inch for the dart. It's advisable to start from the upper side when you are working with an off shoulder, and then also I'll repeat the same process for the other side of this front panel. I'll go ahead and stitch it down and then stitch the back one as well. So for the strap on the shoulder, you know that we took out 5 inches for the front and then 6.5 inches for the back. So add that together, you have about 11.5 inches. Then I added ½ inch on both sides to join it to the back, to the body. So I'll go ahead and stitch down by ½ inch this way, and then turn it to the right side. So guys, this is what you have at this point. You can see the back bodies I've gone ahead to take out the line, the dart. So I'll go ahead and cut out the excess on the at the dart area, and then we are going to go ahead and iron this out. Then for the back, for the front bodies, you can see what we have at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and open the dart area up this way and iron it down. If you don't have that circle thing, like tailor's hem to do this, it's going to be a bit difficult, just like it was for me. So I'll bring in the back bodies, and then I'll bring in that strap of fabric. I'll place it this way, leaving ½ inch on the armhole area so that you can be able to turn that place inside out. I'll pin it down and then bring the other parts of the strap as well, and I'll repeat the same process for the other side. So guys, once you are done with that, we are going to bring in the other part of the front bodies and then cover it up. You can either pin this down on the fabric and then cover with the lining, or you just do any one. Then I'll stitch it down just like you see me showing you guys, all the way to the end. And then you're going to make notches and then turn it to the right side, and then you pick up the strap and also attach it to the back bodies as well, and then cover it up with your fabric or with your lining, whichever you stitch down first. So I'll go ahead and do all this that we just explained, and once we are done with that, we are going to go ahead and make notches around where necessary. You can see I'm done ironing this, so I'll go ahead and cut out all the excess that will cause bulge at that shoulder area or at the chest line, whichever you want to call it. I'll cut this off, and then I'll go ahead and make notches around the neckline and also for the back one as well. Once we are done with that, you're going to go ahead and open up this. So we are going to go ahead and open up this front bodies, and then the seam line or the allowance that we used to stitch this down. So I'm just making notch at the center front. I forgot to do that. So I'll push that allowance to the lining side, and then I'll top stitch all the way to the end. You can repeat the same process for the back as well. Then you go ahead and iron it out. So guys, this is what we have at this point. I've already ironed this out, and I'm just trying to use my pin to hold it in place so that everything won't keep moving up and down as I am moving the fabric. So I'll just pin it at some places that will help me to manage the fabric better. So guys, once you are done pinning this down, I'm just trying to arrange it well so that I'll be sure of what I'm pinning. I'll bring in the back bodice this way, and then I'll stitch it down from facing front. Please, I'm not doing inseam finishing. I'm going to serge mine. If you want to do inseam finishing, you can go ahead and do it, and then turn it inside out from the lower side, from the waistline. So this is what we have at this point. You can see that it's coming out beautifully at this point. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to bring the flare part of this gown, and then we're going to go ahead and stitch it down by 1/2 inch front facing front from the zipper allowance to the end. If you have any extra, you can go ahead and plait it or gather it into the fabric. Then I'll go ahead and hem this as well. So guys, once you are done with that, this is what you have at this point. You can see once I was done with each step, I go ahead to serge it. So I've already serged the hem. I'll turn it by 1/2 inch. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to close up the zipper allowance and then attach our zipper, and I'll also go ahead and hem that as well. And that's it for this style. I hope you find value. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share my videos to family and friends, and I will see you in my next video.